Namaste, you're on The Nation at 5. I'm Anand Narsimhan coming to you live from the newsroom here at CNN News 18. Ladies and gentlemen, it's raining gold and let's pray for more because dil mange more, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about Commonwealth in just a bit. We are hoping that one of the medalists should join us through the course of the show. But right now, we're going to turn the spotlight towards an immediate threat to our internal security. And this threat, as a crackdown here at CNN News 18, we've been asking for a throughout crackdown across the country, internal strike on radicals. And over the last 2 weeks, we've seen our intelligence agencies, our task force of the various state police work together along with the NIA and try and crack down on these radical outfits. And there are quite a few of them. One of the latest who's been arrested is also now throwing up this angle of crypto jihad. The fact that crypto and cryptocurrency could be used for nefarious purposes, this angle is now is coming through. And this is once again for that area in Delhi, in the national capital, which has been infamous even in the past for harboring terrorists. This is the Batla House region where this development has happened, and the news coming in that the crackdown on the terror nexus, and NIA sources telling CNN News 18, this is the exclusive that we start with here on The Nation at 5. The exclusive news break, or the news that we are getting to you here, is from a top source within the NIA. What we are being told is that the person on your screens right now is a Jamia student who's been arrested from Batla House in Delhi. Mohsin Ahmed, he's from Bihar, is a second-year engineering student. Mohsin established contact with the IS during his time at Kota in Rajasthan. Mohsin was in contact with IS operatives in the Middle East. He was in touch with a female Daesh operative. Mohsin was actually tasked to send money to a female jihadi camp in Syria. So this was his job, to collect money and send it to this jihadi camp in Syria. The Daesh operates this Al-Hol camp in Syria for female jihadi fighters. So again, another huge cause for concern is female radicals or female jihadi who are getting ready by the Islamic State. And this is all happening in Syria. The IS is using female jihadis as a honey trap to also raise funds. Mohsin was asked to send money via the crypto route. So using crypto to fund the radical operations. This is why he has been nabbed. Mohsin told the NIA that the IS is being funded by the Afghan drug trade. Let us not forget that not far away from Batla House, in that entire Shaheen Bagh area, in that part of Delhi, was a huge drug bust that happened recently, where many kilos of heroin were found and the operatives were also nabbed, and they were seen to be linked with international terror outfits. Mohsin's network was spread across several nations. That's the information we have. Mohsin had contacts in Syria, Indonesia, Bangladesh. This name keeps cropping up. The Bangladesh in terms of radical outfits operating and especially conducting their operations with Trojans within India. And of course, Sri Lanka. Mohsin was able to collect about 4 lakhs via the crypto route. The NIA is also investigating Mohsin's associates at Jamia and also Kota. So it swings back into Rajasthan. And is this all somewhere loosely or very, very tightly knit and connected? If you look at the rise of the radicals and the radical strikes across the country, the kind of literature that's being pushed on social media, and of course what their multifarious agendas are. NIA is investigating Mohsin's associates at Jamia and Kota, and NIA is also investigating terror funding via active crypto wallets. Not so long ago, the Enforcement Directorate shut down one of the crypto platforms because of dubious transactions and the fact that they did not have the blockchain technology in place, and that there were clear evidence of money being laundered using that particular platform, crypto platform, and that was shut down. The serious concerns that are being raised. Alok Bansal, Director, India Foundation, and SP Vaid, former DGP Jammu and Kashmir, with us this evening on The Nation at 5. Namaste, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. And SP Vaid ji, this aspect of cryptocurrency or the crypto route being used to fund jihad, but more importantly, getting indoctrinated while you are in Kota, getting ready for the engineering club, this following it through when you are working and when you are living in Delhi, originating from Bihar, but more importantly, trying to back a radical group of female jihadi fighters getting readied or being trained in Syria at the Alol camp of the IS.
Yes, see, the serious threat that India is confronted with is the misuse of internet and the new dimension of crypto. Crypto now makes easy the transfer of money from one country to the other. That's why, if you recall, Government of India came up with the regulations that you have to keep it in specified ballots. The tax, 30% income tax has to be charged on this. So government would know where the money is going. This is an interesting case where NIA should find out if money has been transferred or if money came to him, Mohsin. What are the loopholes in the system? Still, are there more requirement of checks and balances? That I think the investigating agency must look into it so that we make it difficult for easy transfer of money raised out of this new dimension of crypto to fund the global jihad. The second interesting aspect is the use of women.
Yes.
In Mohsin's case, the lady, 28 years old lady, has been used to radicalize him. So it is love jihad as well as crypto jihad. Now, the third dimension of the drug trade being used. Most of these terror organizations are basically drug syndicates, and they raise money through illegal means through the drugs. That's why you saw a huge recovery in the same locality, Batla House. I think the drug trade, we need to be very, very stringent on these measures, and many things will come out of its further interrogation. His contacts in the university, his contacts in the Kota, Rajasthan. Again, Rajasthan is repeatedly figuring. You saw incidents happening in
Yes.
Rajasthan, and at one time we thought Rajasthan is the most peaceful state in the northern India, but it is no more today. And I think all these aspects need to be taken into account because uh, biggest threat to India is radicalization of the youth. Though by and large, Indian Muslim youth have uh, actually, if you see the history and see the comparative numbers compared to many other countries, even Western countries, Indian Muslim youth have been uh, by and large free of global jihad,
Yes.
excepting few exceptions. But then we have our enemies not only in our neighborhood like Pakistan and Bangladesh, but we have elements who are India haters sitting in the Middle East and Syria. And look at the links which are coming out of his interrogation.
True, and you are very right, Mr. Ved, where we say that largely, and this is 0.01%, or if not much lesser than the entire group or society itself. But fact of the matter is that even if this small percentile can cause a lot of damage to society, and when they cause damage, they don't pick and choose who dies. People die, innocents die, and that's the reality. But more importantly, the reality, Alok Bansalji, is radicalism and radicalization. So, and this entire hub, this area that is Batla House, Shaheen Bagh, again, once again, nefarious for a kind of activities which are not aligned with the interests of India. So, be it the Indian Mujahideen, Lashkar, Jaish, Al Qaeda, IS, they are all finding a footprint in this area. And this person hails from Bihar. He's gone to Kota where he got indoctrinated, got trapped, ensnared, and now is actively working for the Daesh.
See, we need to be very careful and clear about it that the radicalization is being attempted at more educated section of the Muslim youth. And that's one of the reasons why you find that places like Kota, where you have a large number of Muslim youngsters congregate, away from their parents, and they are there, Aligarh, Jamia. These are the hubs where you have educated. And that is where I have been trying to say that we need to be very careful with the agenda which the Muslim radical organizations are pursuing. Their narrative. Their narrative is so constructed that it appeals to a lay educated Muslim youth. And you need to counter it. And that's what I have been trying to say. And now, today, the geographical frontiers have become irrelevant. With cryptocurrency and with social media, you can radicalize a youth in Timbuktu and get him to transfer funds. Now, this particular incident brings to highlights two, three very important facets. One is of this use of cryptocurrency. I think government has started something that where they've started taxing them, but I think government needs to come down even more strongly on this cryptocurrency menace, because if it remains unchecked, this would become one of the medias for transferring sums from one part to another. And this money could be easily harnessed for illegal and anti-national activities. The second, of course, is the use of women, which we have seen that this Islamic radicalization has been using women, and they have succeeded in brainwashing a large number of women for their cause. And this has actually succeeded in pulling this chap Mohsin, who was an engineering graduate and had studied well. He was obviously intelligent boy. And here I would like to reiterate what I have been trying to say for a very, very long period of time, that de-radicalization can only be countered when we understand what is drawing the youth to radicalization. And for that, we need to understand the narrative which these obscure outfits have actually churned out. These outfits which are pursuing an obscurantist agenda have pursued. And only if we understand the narrative which they are pursuing, we'll be able to counter it. Otherwise, piecemeal, we can keep arresting. It's a big achievement. I really give credit to the investigating agencies. But please understand, most of the Indian investigating agencies, most of India's police force, most of India's security forces do not understand Islamic theology. And unless, of course, you understand that important dimension, you will not be able to counter this radicalization, because this radicalization takes place because of a narrative which is heavily seeped with theological texts. And I think we have to counter it by again creating a counter narrative which should again be seeped with theology. And that is what is very, very important. And I think that policymakers, including security agencies, have to be very, very cognizant.
One of the other larger issues is the presence of illegals in India. Illegals is those who are not Indian citizens, but who have now living off India, and some of them have been here for decades. So it's a second generation which is coming in, and they come with a particular bent of mind, and the kind of indoctrination that's being pushed or which is coming from these entities is again a huge cause for worry. I keep saying that the unofficial estimates or some of the reports that they confirm the presence of nearly 4 crore illegals in our country. 4 crore illegals is a huge number, ladies and gentlemen, because it's more than about 8 or 10 countries in the world don't have this kind of population put together. So that is something which is a huge, huge worry for us. The other aspect, and we are getting to that, the kind of presence of radicals amongst these illegals. The amount of radicals and terror outfit members who are influenced by terror outfits who are present on Indian soil is really, really alarming. Here's another news that's coming through. This happened earlier in the day, where again a female jihadi was arrested in Bilasipara. Her name is Zarua Khatun. She's just 20 years old. She and her husband are linked to Ansarul Bangla, and they have been nabbed in Assam. Her husband is accused of being from Bangladesh. We try and go across to Niloy for more details, but of late, there has been a huge crackdown by the Assam ATS against these radical outfits and their operations. It also resulted in 11 or 12 people being arrested in just from 5 districts. There was this entire madrasa that was razed down because it was all Jamiul Huda, which was again sourced, funded by Bangladeshi elements and money that is illegal. Now Niloy joining us. Niloy, who's this person? This Zarua Khatun and her husband. How long have they been in India, and what were their operations?
Right, Anand. First, let me describe about Zarua Khatun. Zarua Khatun is 20 years age. She is class 8 pass, and she has married this person who the police has been searching for. Now, Abu Tallah. Abu Tallah is a absconding ATB operative, very active in Assam. Basically, Assam police is searching for 5 Bangladeshi national. Those are Ansarul Bangla team operatives in Assam. They have come into Assam either by taking tourist visa or have somehow sneaked into Assam through the porous borders, possibly in Dhubri area or in Karimganj area, but they were staying in this Goalpara, Bongaigaon and Dhubri area. And this person in particular, Ataullah, he married Zarua Khatun. Zarua Khatun is the daughter of a local AIODF Panchayat member. Now, he married Zarua Khatun. Not only he married Zarua Khatun, the most precarious part of the entire story is that he trained the class 8 pass Zarua Khatun in sophisticated web technology. Now, Zarua Khatun and Ataullah and the other sleeper cells of Ansarul Bangla team, now they communicate it through black web. Now she knows black web. The police today has said that she has destroyed one of the mobile, and how somehow police could procure 2 of the mobile phones. And that has been examined. More details is likely to come out. But the thing is that now class 8 pass girl married to a Bangladeshi national.
This seems to be a standard operating procedure, Niloy. The moment the crackdown happens, they first try and smash their phones. Even in the Jamiul Huda case, the wife and daughter, 18-year-old, both of them tried to destroy the phones first.
Because they operate through black web, and the black web, the thing is that first thing, it is not traceable, it is intercommunicative, and this is high-end sophisticated applications they use in their mobile phone. So moment they are being the operations get intensified, they start destroying the phone. In this case also, they have destroyed the phone, so the police cannot get any trace out of the phone, not that the phone exists. Somehow the 2 phones could be recovered. Now the examination is done. Another thing is that Ataullah, he was there in Dhubri district. He married this lady out there, and both of them traveled all the way from Dhubri. They came to Morigaon. They stayed there in Morigaon. In this particular madrasa, which we're mentioning, which has been raised down, Jamiulullah Madrasa, they stayed there. They gave training, not only training in literature, not only the radicalization or indoctrination process, but also they gave training in high-end sophisticated mobile operation and communication links. Now, this is the most difficult part because police cannot trace.
So you are saying that these 2 are also connected to that same Morigaon Madrasa, and they were actually teaching in that Morigaon Madrasa. So Zarua Khatun is connected to the Morigaon Madrasa that was demolished the other day.
Zarua Khatun and her husband, both the Bangladeshi national, an ATB operative in India, both of them traveled down to this madrasa, their operation out there, their teachings out there, and then they again moved back. When the Borpeta and the Bongaigaon operations actually was initiated by the police, the modules were busted, then these people went in hiding. Only one could have been could be arrested so far by the name of Suman, who was there teaching in a madrasa out there in Goalpara district. Now he was there. He is also a Bangladeshi national. So these are only few Bangladeshi nationals who are illegal immigrants. BJP says Assam. Now, if you see the recent population thing that has been published,
right,
that says that the bordering districts of Assam, along with Bangladesh, the populations have gone up to 32% out there in Muslim populations. So these populations, the police and the administration doubt, they are illegal immigrants who have come into India and are staying in the bordering districts, which has actually spiked the population out there.
Right. Niloy, thank you for your inputs and startling details, Mr. S.P. This is another challenge. Not only are they occupying the border regions, the latest border report says that there has been a huge demographical change because of these illegal immigrants coming there and trying to localize and then trying to change the rules. And this is happening not just in Assam, but in other parts which are the border areas with Bangladesh. But look at the operation here. That madrasa which was demolished or bulldozed the other day by Himanta Biswa Sarma's government because it was on illegal property and it was illegal. Their operative, the guy who's the main mullah there, he's arrested. His wife and daughter are also being questioned because they tried to destroy the phones, the chats, and what they could retrieve showed that they were using highly encrypted platforms. Now this 20-year-old who's married to another guy, a person who's an Ansarul Bangla operative, allegedly from Bangladesh, she is also being trained, an 8th pass girl trained to work highly encrypted chat platforms. She also destroys her phone. The political connections notwithstanding.
The policy makers understand it is a larger game plan to change the demographic complexion of all the border areas, whether they are Indo-Bangladesh, Indo-Nepal, Indo-Pakistan. And this is happening on a rampant scale. Unfortunately, everything gets politicized in India. Can you imagine the challenge internal security agencies face, where you yourself said roughly 4 crore illegal migrants are there? There is no way to bloody check them. Who is a citizen of India and who is not? And why should they live here after they are identified? They should be pushed back because they could pose a serious threat. And it is a direct challenge and threat to the internal security, because this is basically I would feel a larger game plan of jihad by changing the complexion of population on the border and in a larger scale all over the country. So see how high technology is being used, the black web, and look at the 8th class girl being trained in use of this technology. I think
Yes.
Police and security forces are not even equipped and trained to handle this kind of challenge. And if you recall, President of France, I have been repeatedly mentioning, took a lot of steps in his country to counter radical elements in his country. And the serious challenges which European countries today are facing, they are taking these measures. I think it is high time Indian security establishment understands that, and the political leadership at the top understands this, and these steps are implemented in India to check this radicalization.
Absolutely, and it's all the more startling that there was a madrasa factory, which is a radical factory. It's demolished, but then for those who were teaching there were actually equipping the and radicalizing students, and they were using this highly encrypted platform and to communicate with perhaps patrons in Bangladesh. We don't know how many. There are more than 42 students in that madrasa, which was bulldozed. You're seeing the visuals, and this couple was actually teaching there. They were living in that madrasa, and they fled when the ATS crackdown happened. Now the husband is absconding. The wife, Zaura Khatun, a 20-year-old, has been nabbed. Has the husband fled back into Bangladesh? Is that how porous our borders are, that these terrorists or radicals can come into our soil and then make their way out at will? It's a serious concern that remains, and we'll continue to talk about the rise of these radicals and the crackdown on these radicals, the importance to nip them in the bud and to round them up at the earliest, because they are everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, everywhere, from Assam to Kota in Rajasthan to Delhi, and even in Bengaluru, where there have been arrests that have been made. It's a presence across the length and breadth of the country. Alok Bansalji and SP Vaidji, thank you very, very much for joining us. Shifting focus quickly to bring you up to speed on what's happening on sovereign Indian territory, which has been occupied by Pakistan. This is PoK-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where there is serious strife, ladies and gentlemen. Multiple reports have come in where the locals are only escalating their protests against the forced occupancy by the Pakistanis, and also with the local government, which has been put in place, a puppet government. Huge crisis on water, power, civic amenities in the region. Protests of the locals have been actually brutally crushed by the Pakistan military. Protests have started over the lack of even safety walls in the mountainous areas, which have led to multiple accidents, so much so that lives are not being saved during the times of inclement weather this rainy season. I have Dr. Amjad Ayub Mirza, who's been tracking these developments very carefully. Dr. Mirza, you've been putting it regularly in your podcast that there is serious trouble, serious strife in POJK. And things are going out of hand with the locals in huge amount of distress.
Well, Anand, thank you for Thank you for having me. There is an open rebellion in POJK actually. The protests that were taking place all over POJK at different times now are taking place at the same time, and they have got three type of protests. One is general protest rally, the other is public meetings, and the third one is the dharnas. And now what we are faced with is a real existential crisis because Pakistan is trying to impose a 15th Amendment through the Legislative Assembly of Pakistani-occupied Kashmir. And this 15th Amendment has got four major aspects that the people have now rebelled against. And number one is that they want to take all the monetary. There is a lot of noise coming in the background, so I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. I can hear you. Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
so number one is they want to take away any monetary or administrative powers that the Assembly of POJK has. Number two, they are bringing in a tourism act according to which the whole of tourism industry will be controlled by two Pakistani military officers. Number three, they are taking over all our hydropower projects, and they are trying to put fuel tax. We don't use fuel to generate electricity. It's all hydropower based electricity. So the fuel taxes of Punjab, the cost of fuel, to meet the cost of fuel in Punjab, they are now imposing fuel tax on the people of POJK. And number four, the military has issued a notification according to which they can acquire any piece of land for any length of time at any time without even asking the Legislative Assembly of POJK in the name of defense purposes. So all of this has culminated, and there is going to be a big, massive general strike again in Muzaffarabad on the 12th of August. Now, several, I mean, scores of political prisoners have, and that they are being tortured brutally, and it's indescribable. For example, young man by the name of Abid, they tortured him. They cut his body. They made cuts on his body with blade. They rubbed chilies into them. Then they put a pipe in his backside and shoved chilies up his backside. I mean, how low can one stoop to
No, but this is brazen rights violation, and this is torture. This is the kind of torture which has now been banned. You're not allowed to torture people like this. But Dr. Amjad, how are they able to get? How are they getting away with this? Why is this not being reported in the global media? Why are there questions not being asked about it? The other aspect we are given to understand is that the Chinese are also now becoming adamant about power supply and with the projects there.
Well, everything that is happening in POJK is happening with the consent of the Chinese. You know, the Chinese want Gilgit-Baltistan to be incorporated into Pakistan as a province. And now, through the 15th Amendment, they are trying to reduce the status of POJK to that of a provincial entity without calling it a province. And the community is silent. These are war crimes because remember, this is an occupied land that was occupied after 22nd of 1947.
Right.
Wars. We are Indian citizens living under the occupation of Pakistan. So these are war crimes, and Pakistan has never shied away from committing war crimes. The past is witness to that. There's evidence, ample evidence, and this is only one or two examples of the torture that I mentioned. In police stations, our tiny rooms, 10 people at a time with no toilet facilities. Can you believe that? And now I'm receiving this these messages that prisoners have been released. And yesterday there was a all-party conference in which 19 pro-Pakistan. Now this is very important, that pro-Pakistan political parties convened in POJK, convened a so-called all-party conference in which the Prime Minister of POJK and the former Prime Minister of POJK also participated, and they have they have come up with a resolution that we will not accept this and we will not accept that. But all those political parties that are initiating this rebellion and initiating these protests, like the JK-NAP and JK-NSF and the others,
Right. So,
out of this conference. So this is a hoax, this is a dramabazi.
right. Right. Now, this dramabazi cannot continue for long, but the fact is that we are putting out the pictures and we are showing you the true reality of what's happening in POJK. Dr. Amjad Ayub Mirza, thank you for joining us and adding information and throwing light to these pictures that we've been able to access. Thank you very much. We're going to take a very short break here on The Nation at 5. When we come back, it's raining gold and we celebrate our medalists at Birmingham 2022, the Commonwealth Games. Stay with us.
To upset the number 1 seed.